You good?
Okay. Yeah, I'm fine.
Just playing with the lights. Nobody can see us, but I'm just adjusting my lights.
You never know. Uh,
Well, how's it going?
about the same as we were talking about 5 minutes ago before we hit record.
That is the
Things are going
lamest.
well.
You're supposed to suspend disbelief, like we just hit record and just picked up the phone. Like, how's it going, man?
Yeah, no one believes that. I am doing well.
I'm doing well. Well, welcome where the reality is stripped away and there's no veil of disbelief in the here.
Breaking the fourth wall. That's what it is. Okay. Yeah, no, I'm doing well. And you?
I'm also doing wellish. Well, that sounds like something you put on something. I'm doing wellish. Enjoying the spring. Actually, okay. So I'm going to introduce myself because my nugget has to do with the weather currently. So, welcome to the Brothers in Smithing podcast. My name is Andrew, and I am Deer Run Forge, a blacksmith, a hobbyist blacksmith. I don't know. That's too many words to describe me.
Hobby artist, farmer, smith.
Yeah, something like that.
Metal. I hit hot metal on an anvil.
That's right. I hit hot metal and make it something that's cool. Anyway, and my nugget for today is I enjoy colder weather more than I enjoy hot weather. So this May here in Ontario has been chilly, sweater and pant weather, and it has been delightful.
But it's had a couple of really scorchy days, which I really didn't like. I agree. I like the cold weather more than the hot weather too. Although not my nugget. I'm not stealing your nugget. But there was a couple hot days there. Really? So
There were some warm ones, but not
excellent
like
nugget though.
scorchers. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but as soon as it gets above like 22, I'm like, that's too hot.
Yeah.
And whereas my wife's like, as soon as it's until it is 22, it's not hot at all. It's like it's cold. I'm like, what's wrong with you? But so my name is Kipling, and I am the coppersmith, tinsmith portion of our Brothers in Smithing at Tapley Tinsmith. And my nugget is I am too lazy to be an alcoholic. I'm not. I never have to worry about being an alcoholic because I am too lazy. How, you might ask?
I totally asking how.
Yeah.
Explain.
So when someone's coming over, I go out and I buy a bunch of beer and whatnot. So it's great. Everybody can have some beers. And then there's usually a couple or some beers left over. And I will drink them, over the course of the week or a couple weeks, how many, whatever. And then when they're gone, I am too lazy to go to the beer store and replace them until, someone else is coming by. And the reason why this has come up is because I had a friend over a couple nights ago for a board game night. He was coming in, and I'm like, "Oh, he's coming in. I have to have some beer." I went down, and there was no beer in the fridge. I couldn't find a beer anywhere. I'm like, and he showed up. I'm like, "I'm sorry, I don't have any beer. My bad." But then I actually found one tonight at the back of the fridge that was hiding. So I do have a beer, and I am drinking Bob Cajun Cottage Lager for my libation. But this is currently the last beer in my house. And will be until the next time we have guests over.
I was going to say, Kipling's going to call me and be like, can you come up for an evening? Why? I'm too lazy to get beer otherwise. Am I even a guest in your house anymore? Or am I just a constant?
No, you haven't been a guest in a long time, but I do go out, even though you don't have guest status anymore. I still go out and buy alcohol before you.
It's the excuse status for sure to go get some.
It's definitely the excuse status. What is your libation?
My libation tonight is a Newfoundland whiskey called Signal Hill in some ice. It is actually a delightful Canadian whiskey, and been exploring a few different Canadian whiskeys these days. So
very nice. Very nice.
Would you like to explain brothers in smithing, or would you like me to shambly go through it?
Sure, I can shambly go through it for you tonight. So, Brothers in Smithing, if this is the first time you've listened to our podcast, the two of us are brothers not by blood, but by choice. We've known each other for over 20 years now. And we started smithing. Actually, we both started blacksmithing together.
Yeah,
What, how many years ago now?
a lot, a
A
while.
lot. And then I sort of gave it up because I moved somewhere else and didn't have access. And I started tinsmithing and coppersmithing. And like everything we do, we compete over it. And so we thought it would be fun to do a monthly competition and post it on Instagram for 5 people to vote on. And it's grown now. It's what, 7
Yeah,
who
yeah,
vote?
at
No.
least 7, 8. Yeah, yeah. But we've been doing
um,
that for
and
4 years.
over 4 years now.
Over
Yeah,
four
it's
years,
crazy.
nuts.
Over 4 years. We are on, is that accurate? I don't think it's accurate. I think we're on our 48th challenge. We're almost at half 100.
Almost a 50. Wow, we should almost do an
Yeah, it's
anniversary.
crazy.
50.
It
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
I know.
crazy.
We'll
So what
hit
was the
50 challenges before I hit 50 years old. Yay.
50-50 challenge? Yeah, there. Oh, it should have been a 50-50 challenge or something.
Mm. No, I still got a year and a half. It's okay.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
only turning 49 this year.
Okay, cool.
Not there yet. Not there yet. The end of my 40s. So yeah, so that's what we do. We challenge ourselves to something to do every month. Generally, you blacksmith it and I copper tinsmith it. Sometimes it's a little bit different. Like last month,
Last
where we
month
both
was,
coppersmith something.
yep. You had an
It was our
advantage on me on
recycled
that one.
copper. I did, and I capitalized. And we were
Yep.
doing a recycled copper challenge, so we had to make something out of recycled copper pipe, and pipe fixings. And you made a beautiful feather candle holder because it was the other thing. It had to be a candle holder for sort of Earth Day sort of thingy for April, and it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. It just wasn't gorgeous enough.
Oh, yeah, yours it was yours had the cutie, like, little cute factor or something. I still think I would have conceded defeat where you put a little belt clip on it. I still want one with a belt clip for some reason. Maybe
Oh,
I know,
there
I know in my historical costume, okay, blacksmith in my apron and stuff. Imagine it's clipped on the top of the apron, and I'm like, "Ooh, I need more light," and I like flick it down, just like turning your headlight on, and you like strike a match, and you're like, "There we go, hey, pink, pink." That would be like hilarious. I will make that real if you make it with the belt clip.
well, as I said, we'll maybe for one of your birthdays sometime. Although I know your birthday's past this year, I will make a belt clip one for you.
Okay. Okay. Well, keep it in your
We'll
mind.
keep it in mind. But
So
yes. So
you were able to win that one.
I was, and the really fun thing about it for me was that was the first one of season 2 of this podcast, and
Right.
I won the season finale of season 1 and the season opener of season 2.
So
I'm
where
on a
does that
mini
put
roll
us?
of 2.
48 challenge, and what is our scores here now?
Actually, you know what? I lied. It is the 46th. I was just looking at the stats. It is our 46th challenge.
Okay.
21 to you, 21 to me, and 4 ties. Which to me is pretty impressive that we are in a dead heat after doing 46 challenges.
It is pretty crazy. It's partly, I don't know. I keep going back and forth on this whether it would like motivate. It sometimes motivates me more that I'm like, I've lost 2 or 3. I got to get the ball rolling again. And I think if you got too far down, it might be too discouraging. But neither of us have been ever ahead or back more than like 2, maybe 3.
I think 4 because we were looking at the other day, the last time,
Yeah,
and I think it was 4. You were up by 4 at one point. I think it was the 3 or 4 was the max. But yeah, and you know it was funny because we were looking at. Generally, I'm playing catch up most of the
generally, yeah.
time. You're in the lead, and then I catch up, and then you move up in the lead. Not that I've never been in the lead. I've been in the lead a couple times. Um, I don't want to say like I've never been leading, but but
You are
generally,
you are traditionally known as the villain, so
I am.
yep,
The villain keeps catching up. But so yeah, so this was officially a catch up. I tied the score at 21 apiece.
cool. So
But
we sometimes try to, with these challenges, tap into some popular culture type things, and something that we both enjoy. We've done Star Wars and we've done
the Grinch.
The Grinch before. Yes, thank you. So this one, this month's was Alice in Wonderland, and I don't know. I think that you hadn't watched it in a long time or hadn't seen it in a while, and I haven't seen it in a long time, but I have these childhood memories of Alice in Wonderland and going to people's houses and like sleepover parties and stuff and watching Alice in Wonderland, the Disney version, the older one. Um, and I don't know, I have like childhood memories of it, and it's not what I remember from it, but um, when you go
Have you
back.
rewatched it now?
No, I haven't watched it from start to finish. I've watched the little snippets that deal with the characters that I was interested in, but not the start to finish full film.
Ah, see, whereas I while folding laundry, because I fold a lot of it. For those of people who do not know, I'm a stay-at-home father, so I do a lot of stuff around the house. And while folding laundry over the course of 3 or 4 days, rewatched the 1960s version. It's weird. It's
uh,
very weird. You know what it is like now? Like as a kid, I'm sure I saw it differently, but now
yep.
as an adult, it is like a 1960s sketch comedy cartoon
Yeah.
because it is not a movie. It is a
No.
bunch of individual little skits that don't really link together very
And
well.
you're the whole time you're like, what is actually going on? And as a kid, it really doesn't matter because the next character is as fun as the last one, and so on and so
Yeah,
forth. But as an adult, you're trying to find a plot or a reason that you're
yeah, no,
here, and it's the reason. Just take reason and just leave it
and
behind, and take any logic and go, but why is never mind?
yeah,
Doesn't. Yeah.
it also didn't age very well. But then again, a
Yeah.
lot of old Disney movies don't.
Yeah.
So as long as you can set that aside, it was interesting. And then because we were talking about this after I watched it, I have not, I hadn't seen the Johnny Depp one,
Oh.
the new one, and so I decided to watch it.
Okay.
It was actually good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Have you seen it?
No, I have not seen
So
it.
spoiler alert. Here you go. Spoiler alert. It's it is actually a movie. It's not a sketch comedy thing. It's not a
Okay.
reproduction of that. The story is different. It's actually Alice has gone back, but just she doesn't remember the first trip.
Oh.
And she's back, and it's the story of her. She's come back, and the Red Queen is in power, and it's her overthrowing the Red Queen and reinstating the White Queen into power. And
Interesting.
it's actually fairly well done. I honestly quite enjoyed it.
Now you do like the Tim Burton esque
I
stuff.
I've always liked a lot of the Corpse Bride, Ichabod Crane, Nightmare Before Christmas. All of those are they're fantastic. And Johnny Depp and Helen Bohem Carter.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
can't go wrong.
You
So
can't go
it was
wrong.
it was I won't say it's my favorite movie, but I enjoyed it. It was good. However,
So
my project is all based off of 1960s.
okay, cool. Um. So do you want me to talk about mine first then? Because
Yeah, because I just was blabbering on for no apparent reason. So
I was gonna say you did a whole movie review there. Thanks. How many thumbs up? Like, what's your gating? Your what was it? The brothers had
oh,
2 thumbs up.
1960s as an adult gets a side thumb
Okay.
because and the Johnny Depp one thumb up. I enjoyed it.
Oh, nice, nice, cool. There you go, brothers
I
and
think
smithing
like
movie
sorry, yeah, going
reviews.
back. Oh yeah, there you go. If you're going to really review the 1960s, you have to like do each little segment differently because some were really good, some were not so good.
Fair enough. So my recollection of characters, there's a lot, and that was one of the reasons we think we chose Alice in Wonderland. Is there is all of these characters that you could choose from, um, and make something. So our challenge this month is to make something was to make something Alice in Wonderland for your garden, like a garden decor piece type of thing. Um, so months and months ago, back in February, actually, I was in Kingston with where my dad is, and have access to a plasma cutter. And I typically know what I'm going to sell at craft markets, and I cut out some stuff and some extra pieces and everything like that. And then as the year goes on, I clean that stuff up and forge it and everything. So I took like 100 pounds of steel down there and cut it all up and everything. Anyway, in part of that, I knew that this challenge was coming, so I knew I wanted a Cheshire cat's face, because the way that I remember the Cheshire cat is that like his face kind of appears and disappears from the whole thing, and he's able to sort of camouflage and not camouflage himself into the trees. That was my memory of it.
Yeah,
Um,
and take off his head and roll it
yeah,
around and stand on top of it, and but
yeah.
yeah, he faded in and out a lot, or it.
So that was kind of where I started from, and I knew I wanted a flat piece of the Cheshire's cat's face that would be on a swivel. So as it turned, how would you say that? Broadside, you could see it, and then as it turned to the side, it would basically disappear again as it's spinning around. And I didn't know if that was a wind chime or whatever, and I actually didn't fully understand what was going on. And then I was watching the Cheshire Cat's bits from the 1960s, and he has a line in there where he's like, "Well, you could go this way or this way," and she's like, "Everybody's mad here," and he says, "Well, we're all mad here," and I was like, and that seemed to become a thing that people have attached themselves to with Alice in Wonderland. It doesn't matter which character; they're all a little a little
Oh,
mad. There's a Mad Hatter and all this. So I plasma cut out a sign that said "We're all mad here," and I didn't know what I was going to do with it. And it wasn't until I was like, "What am I going to hang this on?" I actually really thought it was going to be a wind chime originally, with a Cheshire cat face
yeah.
drifting in and out. And then I didn't know how to put that "We're all mad here" sign on it. So it just became a shepherd's crook. So I forged a nice little shepherd's crook, as you'd hang something in your garden on, a nice little scroll off the back of it. And the Cheshire cat hangs down and sort of spins around a couple feet off the ground, and the sign is behind it. And I just did some tempering colors behind it. So
Nice. So the spinning head is actually mounted on a spinner, or is it just on a wire that the wind will spin it or something?
I actually used a leader line for fishing, because they have ball bearing spinners in them. If you get a fairly high quality one, so it's got a metal wire, and it's hanging from the shepherd's crook with the ball bearing, so it spins quite nicely even in a soft breeze. So,
Nice, that's cool.
mhm.
And I did see, like, the lettering. The first picture that you showed me, like, it wasn't a great picture, 'cause the background was very busy, so you couldn't like, it was hard to read it, but
Yeah,
then that second photo that you showed me that had, like, the white sheet behind it so you can see it, like, it looks really nice, but you did some tempering color, but then it looks like there's, like, white on it, like, how did you
white
because it
on.
looks like there's tempering colors on right around the letters and around the inside scroll, and then it looks like it's white. Like, it doesn't even look, like, metallic, it looks like,
I
almost like an
I
eggshell white on the photo.
No, I think what it is it's the reflection. So, one of the problems I have is anything outside, all of my stuff is mainly steel, so it rusts really, really easily. So anything outside normally has to be really coated with things. And oils work for a little bit of time, but if you're going to sell it, it's about a year, and then it starts rusting and people get upset at So I find clear coating it, hitting it with like a clear shellac. So
Yep.
I think that what that is I had to grind the face of that to get those tempering colors around the letters a couple times, which gave it a really matte finish on the steel. I hit it with a Scotch Brite wheel, basically,
Okay, yeah,
which
yeah.
kind of gives it a matte. And then the shellac I use a semi gloss, and I think just the angle that it was looking at it just. it kind of appeared
Oh,
that lighter color. So
it looked fantastic. Like, it's a really nice piece, and I know, like, people can't see it yet. Hopefully, they will go onto our Instagrams, Deer Run Forge, Brother and Smithing, or Tapley Tinsmith, because it's a beautiful piece. Like, it really is nice. That back pops nicely. The Cheshire Cat is pretty good. No, the cat is awesome. It's
I I
it is.
think
It's actually
my thing with this one is, like, I know that my sister wants it, I know that my neighbor wants it, and I know that somebody at work already wants it. Like, this piece, if I don't sell it, is gonna have to be gifted to somebody, and knowing that, like, somebody is gonna want it already, I know that, like, that's a kind of a, like, I didn't build it for them, but I built it knowing that somebody's gonna want this piece sorta thing, so
yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a piece that I don't think if you wanted to sell it, I don't think you would have any
and I
problem
could
selling.
make 5 more and have them at markets and sell them, like, I don't think it'd be an
Well,
issue,
that's the
so
thing, and you could tweak them a little bit. Like, again, with
yeah,
your plasma cutter, you could cut out a Mad Hatter, you could cut out the White Rabbit or whatnot, and have that same thing on the back.
yeah,
Because really, I think that's part of the selling point right there is the we're all mad here. Like that was well done.
yeah.
So no, Mad Hatter hats off to you. Oh, look
Uh,
at the ones I keep throwing in here. Come on.
yeah, yeah, no, it's all good. So what about
But
you? What did you come up with?
uh well, mine kind of spiraled out of control a little bit. It was it really kind of went off in left field, which was to me is part of the fun of this. When you get a project that starts somewhere, you don't really know what you're doing, and it ends up vastly different than originally thought out, but works out well. Much like you, I know you were calling me a copycat. I was going to do the Cheshire Cat. Now, I will happily argue with you that yeah, there are a lot of characters from Alice in Wonderland, but if you ask somebody to name a character from Alice in Wonderland, the top 2 are the Mad Hatter and the Cheshire Cat.
Yeah, 100%.
That would be my argument.
Yep.
So, like we're gonna go with something obviously popular. As fun as it would be to do the Walrus and the Carpenter, no one knows who they are. There's anybody who listens to this is gonna have to look that up now.
Yeah.
At any rate, so my original idea was to again do a wire frame of the Cheshire Cat with a solid mouth, a brass mouth. Again, that idea that the cat fades in and out, but the smile is one last thing that is left or the first thing that appears. So that way, with the hollow outline, it has that kind of I'm either disappearing or well, and I loved it. It was a really process to do that. It just didn't seem enough.
Right.
So then I'm
You
like, okay, what do I do?
like, what was it
Sorry.
gonna be what was it gonna be originally? Like, we saw in your stories there, like, the wire frame and it, looked like the Cheshire Cat, but what was that gonna
Originally, that
be?
was going to be it. It was going to be in the garden as a thing that you could see. You can see through it, but then
Oh,
there,
okay.
the mouth is there. Sorry, pardon me. It just didn't seem enough. And then I'm like, okay, well, maybe we can add in a few other aspects from Alice in Wonderland. It doesn't have to be representing like only one thing. So I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, well, what else can we? Well, the eat me, drink me thing I always thought fine. Like she drinks drinks to make her grow big. She eats things to make herself go small. So okay, I'll add the eat me, drink me thing. That's kind of neat. And well, the Mad Hatter, um, they have the tea party. Well, that's kind of cool. And then, of course, what really started it all off is I was at my parents' place, and I was down in the basement and going through some stuff, and I found an old walk, and it just screamed, "Turn me into a bird bath."
Okay.
And then I was in another part of the basement, and I found an old ashtray that was my dad's when he used to smoke before my sister was born. And I'm like, beautiful little brass ashtray. That would look really nice. I can do something with that. And so then the whole thing spiraled. I'm like, okay, well, if I have the bird bath, and then if I put a little ashtray attached beside it, that can be some bird food. I put the eat me sign there. And then I went out to Value Village, which is a secondhand store here in Canada, and I got a teapot that I tried to drill a hole in the bottom and shattered it, and then got a second teapot and successfully drilled a hole in. I got a water fountain piece, and so the water fountain pumps out through the teapot, feeds into a teacup, and showers down into the bird bath, and it has a drink me sign on the teacup, and the food is on the side that says "Eat me" for the birds, and then the Cheshire cat is looking down behind it at the whole thing.
Hmm. Hang on. Time
So
time it. Time it. So we're supposed to be making these things, not going to the junkyard in our parents' basement and the secondhand store and just screwing and bolting a bunch of stuff together. Like if I did this, you would be like throwing flags on the play. You would be like,
so sorry. Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. If you
I
did this like making a fairy door out of wood, or wait, there was a beautiful canoe thing that we did that had this wonderful mesh stuff
oh
for the seat
I,
that
I
oh
used
wait, you didn't make that, you
pre-used
bought that.
mesh. I used my. It's like using like you didn't make your sheet metal. Okay, so here's the thing.
No, you don't make
I
any of your metal, dude.
well, that's just it. This is what do you?
But
I'm
you
manipulating
buy
and putting
things
those pieces.
too.
Yeah, but the metal and material for it that I had to cut and shape into the piece. I didn't. I
Have
the wood bases that I have, I've had to cut and shape. Wood is like I don't. You're calling foul on a wood frame on a metal door. Anyway, beside the point.
oh no,
I
I am
you
not
you
calling
have a tea.
foul.
Can you make a teapot? Could you make a bowl? I'm not saying you would, but I'm just saying you could make these things. If I bought a bowl and I bought a teapot and put it on behind my Cheshire cat or whatever, I'm just saying that you would call foul on me. And I'm just bringing that to your attention. I'll let it
Oh,
slide this
100.
time, and then you
Oh,
get to let it
let
slide
it
next
slide.
time I have a piece of wood in mine, and you're like, you didn't make it all out of metal.
Oh, I let the wooden door slide. I let the wire
Because you
mesh
beat
slide.
me. Because you beat me.
I didn't beat you. I didn't beat you on either one of those. I will have you know. You won the
You
fairy door
won.
and you won the canoe wall hanging.
I thought you won the what? No, I thought you won the fairy door.
Nope, you won both of those.
Hmm.
So,
All
and
right.
again, part of it, like it was spiraling off of last month's, which was recycled, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Recycled material. And but I agree, there is some purchased and reused items in
There
that.
is some.
Especially our
I
cat is
saw.
completely constructed.
I want it. I am. Again, I've seen pieces and parts and stuff. I have yet to see the completed uh, water fountain and bird. Uh, yeah.
Oh, happy accident as building. Because these, I love the happy accidents that happen while you're constructing. So it was an old walk. I had to clean it up, and then I painted the outside black, and then I painted the inside blue. But I'm like, okay, I wanted this to stick really, really well because water's going here, so I will actually get primer. So I primed the whole thing with white, and then I painted it blue. And then I was running out of time because we're getting close to the end of the month. And I rushed putting the waterproofing sealing coat on the inside before the paint was 100% dry. And so the paint started to mix, and actually some of the primer came up as well into the blue, and it actually looks really cool inside the bowl because it looks like little like waves, and like it turned out really nice. But I'm like, so not on purpose.
And then 23 days after you put water in it, it just all peels right out of it.
Here's hoping, hoping that does not happen. But so it got complicated.
Yeah.
It was a fun build.
It kind of feels like Alice in Wonderland, where like it just got complicated. Like stuff got weird,
All
you know.
different disparate pieces came together. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, this will work. This will work.
You know what you should have done? You know what you should have done? You should have taken a brass hookah, okay, and made a mushroom out of it. It would have been so meta for the whole thing.
If I
Uh,
could have found a brass hookah, it might have made its way in there.
that would have been
But
amazing.
it would have been awesome. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. It looks really cool. It's actually running outside right now, which is kind of fun.
I was gonna say,
I
is it gonna
don't
go in your
think I'm going to
garden?
sell
It's
it.
gonna. No.
I think it's going up to the cottage.
Ah,
Right?
cool.
A couple reasons. One, I just really like it. I think it'll fit in nicely. It's kind of fun. Also, it would be a pain to pack up and take to different markets, and I think it'd be easy for it to get damaged and whatnot.
Yep.
Uh, so I don't think it's going to be at a market. I think it is just going to go and live at the cottage.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so the other thing is really cool. I just don't know if it's cool enough to beat my water fountain.
I think yours might
I
might.
suspect I, the villain, will be the Alice in Gardenland champion.
Ooh,
Yeah.
bold, bold. I don't know. I think
Bold prediction.
bold prediction again comes down to the picture and people's opinions. So I'm welcome
It
to.
does. It
Yep.
and yours is cool. You know, just I don't know if it's quite as cool.
Actually, you know what mine is? And this comes up in a couple conversations we've had is like where things become, excuse me, things become like a market product sort of thing. The idea of this like shepherd's hook, something hanging a sign on it type of thing, I think is something that, I mean, it's a funny for me. This is where I'm sitting. There's a lot of people who do CNC computer guided plasma cutting, and they'll do those welcome signs and like deer in the background, or like welcome to the Smith's house or whatever it is. And
Yep.
like I think they're cool, and like I want one in my house as well. But there's it lacks the handmade quality type of thing, and I think that there's a bunch of garden things that you can buy. Like you can go to the dollar store and buy a metal gnome that's painted and stick them in your garden. Like I know you could do that, but I think that there's something more lasting and more quality about the stuff that we're producing that could potentially lend itself to something. So anyway, I'm like, yeah, this shepherd's crook that I've made is way more quality than even what you would pay for a quality one in a garden store, because I looked. And then like the cool factor of the whole turning thing, again, I think that there's lots of things you could do even just in Alice in Wonderland, having the Mad Hatter's hat, having the Cheshire cat, having, you know, the white rabbit in a
Any
pocket
of those.
watch or something. Yeah.
And I think a clever sign behind it, like we're all mad here. And again, you can find other signs for other movie themes or whatever with something dangling. I think it is. I think it's a good, solid product.
Yep.
I think you're right. Mm. And just because as you were talking, I thought of another thing that you purchased and added to a piece that has been commonly commented on. It was the thing that put it over the edge. A
Eh.
red
Oh, the red
50-cent
decoration ball. Yeah.
decoration ball.
So we made
And people
Grinch
have
themed things.
commented on it more than once.
We made Grinch themed things years ago, and Kipling chased out this Grinch and holding the tree, and um, uh, again, lots of work went into it. Far more work than went into mine. I plasma cut out a Grinch hand doing the little pinchy thing, and I made it so it was able to hold an ornament. I wanted to show it holding the ornament, so I commonly put a cheap dollar store ornament. You buy them in a pack. They are like $2 for three of them. You hang it in the thing. You sell the Grinch hand, and we've had it at live markets, and we've had it at online, and people are like, "Oh, it was the red ball that sold me," and you're like,
It's the red ball.
"The 70-cent red plastic ball," and
Yep.
because of the work,
See?
I agree, it's unproportional because the hours of time that Kipling spent going tink 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 chasing the Grinch, and the 30 seconds it took me to spend $2 at the dollar store. Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
and I let it slide.
You let it slide.
Yeah.
uh, Fair enough.
But yes, so we are going to post our Alice in Gardenland objects on this Thursday, which is May 29th. So please check out Tapley Tinsmith or Deer Run Forge or Brothers in Smithing on Instagram, and you can vote for your favorite, which would make us really, really happy because it's
If you're only
obviously mine.
Yeah, if you're only going to go to one, go to Brothers and Smithing because you'll see both Kipling stories and my stories put in there, and you can vote. We'll both have all the reels and stuff associated with it at that one, and you can go to one place and do the one thing and vote for mine there, so you don't have to
No,
look for it.
mine. You know what else I discovered during this whole process? So we've started creating stories about our process going through that we post on Brothers in Smithing and Tapley Tinsmith and Dear Unfortunate and whatnot. And I wear silly hats, or I have been until I'm going to run out eventually of silly hats. I discovered I have more top hats than I thought I did. I
I
have
think
two
you
official top hats. I have a couple other weird ones, and then today's. I don't know if you saw it. Was it today's or yesterday's?
the birthday one.
With my birthday hat that I put on. I added a little un to the because it says "Happy Birthday" on. I got it for my wife for her 40th birthday. Made her wear it, but so I was wearing it, and I put a little un in front of it. So I was wishing everybody a happy birthday.
Is it a top hat too? Was it? Is that where that was going?
It's top hat shaped. I'm not sure you would actually call it a top hat because it looks like a birthday cake. But
uh,
but yes, please go and vote. And even if you missed the voting, leave a comment. That'd be great. Let us know what you think, or if you have a new idea for us to do, because every month we have a new project. So we're always looking up for some new projects that we can tinsmith, coppersmith, blacksmith, whitesmith, purplesmith, you know, whatever smith.
Purple Smith.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Would you like a joke? A blacksmithing joke?
Ooh. Okay, I got a May joke.
Okay, you can have. Okay, my
No,
blacksmithing joke.
blacksmithing joke. Come on,
Okay, so
hit me.
blacksmithing friend of mine had to
Oh.
recently had to go into a retirement home, and he had a pet dog, and I said, yeah, I'll bring the dog home with me. So the dog came home with me, and right away he made a bolt for the door.
Very nice. Mine was for Mother's Day. I say, I just thank your mother out there, and make sure you thank her for the woman board.
The woman boy. Nice. Would you like my question, or are you going to do your eggle?
Oh, let's eggle it up. I'm still in anticipation because I don't even know what the question is yet. I did give you a little bit of warning beforehand for the
Yes.
eggle, our esoteric eggle. If you the first time listening to the podcast, we pick a topic that has nothing to do with smithing or metal or anything like that, and you learn something to do with. The eggle for tonight is an Alice in Gardenland theme. What is your favorite garden?
Favorite plant in my garden, or favorite garden plant that I may or may not have?
Garden plants. So no like wild plants, nothing like that. What it could be in your garden.
It can't be a wild plant, but what if it is in my garden?
It's a garden plant.
Okay, cool. Because mine was going to be actually my milkweed. Years ago, we wanted to have like some milkweed, and I planted a few milkweed seeds, and it has taken over my front little garden, and quite enjoy. It brings other things to the yard. Nobody eats it. It grows quite high in my garden, and my wife grows tulips and daffodils underneath it. So they come out in the spring and show their flowers. They're now gone, and the milkweed is now taller than them, and they'll take over for the rest of the summer. And I quite enjoy having the milkweed in my front yard.
Is it common milkweed or is it
Yep,
swamp milkweed, butterfly weed?
common milkweed. It the big stuff. It commonly grows about as tall as me, about 6 feet tall, which is not
Oh
what it
wow.
grows in the wild. It's weird.
No,
It's
that's
yeah,
that's cool.
yeah.
Very nice. Not necessarily a garden plant generally, but cool, cool, cool. I like it. For me, bee balm. I love bee balm. Beautiful
Bee
red
balm.
flower. Makes a wonderful tea. I discovered it when I was working down at Rondo Provincial Park. I don't have any in my garden. I keep trying to convince my wife to grow it because we split our gardens. So my wife deals with the flower garden. I deal with the vegetable garden. Um, I'm sure if I went out and just bought some bee balm and planted it, would be fine. But
She pulls it out as a weed.
stupid bee balm. But
Uh,
yes, so there. Also
cool,
good for bees and other insects, and nice neat one to have in there. All
cool,
right,
cool. Andrew
what are
asks,
you gonna ask?
if you had a shop, I know neither of us have a shop, but let's just play in a world where you have a shop and you live in a world where you can have a shop buddy or pal or pet. It can't be a person. It's an animal.
Oh, it's not
Um,
you. Okay.
it's not me. It has to be an animal. Okay. Um, and you can't pick your dog that you already have.
Good.
It's a
Thank you. That makes my life easier. Thank you.
so you have
I
a
would pick my dog, but if I didn't pick my dog, then my wife would yell at me.
yes. So a new pet to live in your shop to keep you companion while you're doing your thing.
Are we being serious about this, or are we being facetious about this?
Whatever you want. Pick a side, buddy.
Does it have to be real?
You can't be a griffin. I mean, well, it could be your child griffin, but it can't
Well, my,
be.
my first my first immediate would be a house hippo.
Oh, well, okay. Has to exist in real world.
Okay, okay, that was like I'm like I would love to have a little house hippo that walked around the back of the thing. You know what? The first thing that popped into my head was
What?
an echidna.
An echidna. Ooh. I didn't think of the echidna hedgehog route, but that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah, a little echidna walking around the back. If you have a little design, you can like stick it to its back and it can walk around and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think it would just be really cute to have a little cute echidna that walked around and tickle under its little snout and
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Okay.
an
See.
echidna. That's the first thing that popped into my head.
Huh. Cool.
Go
I.
monotremes. Team monotreme.
There's a lot of smiths who have a dog who throw a ball in between heats, and when I'm blacksmithing at your place, that's a common thing that your dog will bring me a ball to throw and then not let it go, and I spend half the time heating the metal and half the time trying to get your dog to drop the ball. But
Yeah, Tasha is not good at fetch.
she's great at fetch, horrible at
Well,
the dropping the ball,
that
horrible.
we're giving it back so I can throw it again.
Yeah. Um, there's also people who have cats, and you see them commonly like on the workbench and stuff. I think is cool. And there's people who have chickens, and I don't know. I hadn't really decided. Um, I think if I was to have, and it was just my pet, I actually think that I would have to go with a cat. I do like the comfort of a cat and just like the idea that they're just up on the bench and you give them a pet and they like curl up in the sun and all those things I think would be a fun uh, shop pet. But I don't know. Dog. I always love dogs too. So
Yeah, I say you're welcome to Smith up here anytime to have my dog walk in and out. She comes down and keeps me company as I'm down in the shop too. But
it
yeah,
it's always creepy when I'm welding and then your dog like bumps me in the leg because you're like focused and just bumps you in the leg and you're like, what? Oh, geez. Stop looking at the flash, dog. Like,
it's not good for your eyes. So that's why
don't
she has cataracts.
could be, could be. Don't tell your wife doesn't listen. It's fine.
No, it's okay. She's getting up there, so it's not the welding. It's she's old.
I was gonna say could be that she's like bazillion years old.
Uh, Almost 12. So yeah,
Yeah.
she's getting aging up there, but no, she does come down and keep us company. So, but yeah, if I had to pick, it'd be an echidna. Not that I think you're allowed to have echidnas as pets, to be honest.
It's fine. I'll allow it for this
Oh,
exercise.
okay. Well, excellent. Thank you. Next month,
Next month. Next
where do we
month.
go from here?
Next month. My wife loves sharks, and next month is has a week in there for Shark Week. So we be doing a shark themed.
We'd be doing a shark.
We be doing sharks. So
And sorry, yes.
no, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, and then like we were talking, and I was telling you I was randomly at what I call the Millbrook Mall. So Millbrook is a very small town that is, close to me because I live out in the country. And there's the transfer station where we bring all of our garbage and recycling. And people have set up a free cycle exchange there where you can, drop stuff off, pick them up, and so I call it the Millbrook Mall. And I frequently leave the transfer station with stuff that I don't necessarily need, but I'm like, oh, I might be able to do something with that. And I picked up a picture frame that I thought we could do something in because we did. This was before podcasting, but we did a canoe scene in a frame that you would hang on the wall or in front of the window. And so I'm like, okay, I can do something else with that. I was telling you about it, and then you said, well, why don't we do that with the shop?
Yeah.
So it's going to be a framed shark. That's what I'm going to call the thing. Just like this one is Alice in Gardenland.
Okay.
Next month
Framed
is the
shark.
framed shark challenge.
Okay. Okay.
So, do you have any ideas yet?
I do. My ideas center around kind of taking a page from your book in the wire frame stuff. So using wire almost like you would like scripty an outline of a
Yep.
shark, and using that as the thing. Trying to think about how the sharks, like, again, it's the sharks are always in motion, and that undulating motion, trying to get that sort of in a picture with potentially any background and stuff with it. And you know um yeah, challenging. Trying I have some wire that I've bent around. I figured I can weld it. And it's trying to get the shapes and stuff right. It'll be interesting.
Sounds like a good idea. Maybe I'll steal your idea again.
Yeah, you go for it. Now everybody knows it's recorded this time.
It's recorded. Yeah. It's okay. As I
Do you
said,
have
it's not copying if I make it better. It's called improving upon.
Yeah. So with your frame from the Millbrook Brook Mall, which by the way, you've never taken me to the transfer station, and every time you talk about it, you're like, "Oh, look what I got at the transfer station." I'm like, "Dang it!" So now we need to go to your discount store and the transfer station next time we come to your house.
Okay, all right. Woo, going on an adventure to the transfer station. Look at that. Yes, we can do that. Although, yeah, it's hit and miss. Sometimes there's great stuff. Sometimes, but no, my first idea, and I'm having a hard time with it. I don't think my brain is creative enough to do it. I should have bought. I did not. I was at. I think it was Habitat for Humanity. A three frame piece. Like so it had three smaller, 8 by 10 inch frames that were hinged together. And I was thinking, wouldn't it be cool to get that? And when it's folded up, it's one image, and then when you stretch it out, it becomes another image.
Mm. Hmm.
And I've been trying to design it, and I'm struggling with how it hasn't worked out yet.
You know what
So
I'm thinking
also
now?
I went back to because I didn't buy it when I saw it. I had the idea like that night, and so I went back the next day. I couldn't find it, so I have to find another frame like that. But
I'm thinking Dr. Seuss, one fish, two fish, red fish, blue fish, with like almost the idea of like the one fish eating the bigger fish. It's eating the bigger fish. You open it up and
yep,
it's just like nom, nom, nom.
but yeah, it's that idea of like so when it's folded, the image makes sense,
Yeah.
and then you open it up, and the image still makes sense, right?
Yep.
It's a great idea. I just haven't been able to come up with the right design yet. So I don't know if it'll be that or I'm kind of up in the air. But
Uh, Question to clarify: any other restrictions on it?
I don't think so. It needs to be in a frame.
Okay.
I don't think. Do we want? Does it have to be a wall hanging, or can it be like my idea? Like that small would be on a desk. I don't know.
My question is, can there, like, if it's in a frame, what is the backing of the frame? Is it allowed to be
You're
painted by
thinking like
somebody? Is it allowed?
are you thinking like your Northern Lights piece that you had some cutouts with some lights at the back shining through? Like a shadow
Potentially,
box?
potentially,
I'd
or
be okay
like,
with that.
or if it's, can I paint it like a, like the wavy lines of the ocean, or can it be a mirror, or can it
Or you
be
want to
like,
add like something other than metal, like paint, like paint
well, that's what
and a walk and an ashtray, and you
I'm
want to
just
add all those
clarifying.
things?
I'm just clarifying. If I happen to cut a shark bite out of an ashtray, whether that counts as a.
Only if you find the ashtray in your dad's basement.
Okay. Okay. Is it allowed to be a
Uh,
mirror? Can I do a mirror?
sure. I
Okay.
think as long as it needs to be a frame.
Yeah.
Aren't we doing a mirror later on though? We're doing a mirror later on though.
Remember
That's
that?
in October. We're doing a loon mirror.
Oh, September is a loon. September's a
Oh,
loon.
September,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
And
So
that's
no
a mirror.
mirror. Okay,
You
no
could
mirror.
do a mirror. I think as long as it's in a frame, I think that's there's a frame that has been attached to
I
that
don't
you
know how
either
it.
sits on a
Okay. I don't know how it would attach to a mirror anyway. I just had the thought of like, I don't know. I don't know what I'm thinking.
it's still early days, so I haven't and this is not one that there's some that as soon as we suggest the idea, I'm like, boom, there's the idea. It's stuck in my head. All
Yeah.
right, that's where I'm going.
Like there's like some sharky bits.
Yeah. I see
You
the
know,
sharky bits in there.
it's kind of. I don't want to show you the other side because it looks like garbage. But there's the.
Yeah. Yeah, and I've got a whole bunch of wire here if you need it that I picked up from home as well. That's the other thing I picked up from my dad's basement.
I will definitely put some of that to use because I think again this is another idea that could work for other projects and other sellable
Other
things. So,
projects, yep.
yeah.
Yeah, I must admit, like this last one, the Allison Gardenland, I don't know if I'm going to be making more uh, my water fountain bird bath feeder
But would you
things.
make another Cheshire cat with just a post in it that to stick in a garden?
It was a lot of work.
Uh,
Not gonna lie, it was a lot of work. One of the things I found because again, I can't weld right with the copper wire. If I learned how to weld, I could do it with regular wire. But it was a shape the piece, and then I've got to solder it, and it was good practice because there's other things I want to do that way. So it's possible. I really should learn to weld. That would
you
be a good
should.
idea.
We both should learn to weld, actually.
Well, you weld quite well. I'm quite impressed with your welding.
For 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 taking no courses and just completely, just doing it. I'm moderately okay with my skills, but again, I think if I took a course or somebody actually took 5 minutes to show me, I could be
I'm
potentially
sure
better.
we
So
would get better.
yeah,
But even like I was at a store the other day, and like they had those plasma cut animals and trees and that, and just welded to a flat piece of metal. I was looking at the welds because now that's what I do, right? And I'm like,
yeah.
no, you do better work than that.
I look at that stuff all the time too. I'm always critical of my welds. I'm like, it's not the best. And then I look at the junk that's out there and I go, really? You're trying to sell that? Like you wouldn't fix that? So I
No,
did not. I will say my one piece on mine. So I'm holding it up, but I have this nice shepherd's crook here in the front, and I put this little scrolly thing in the back just as a decorative piece, and I welded this on. Clearly, I could have forge welded that if I had time and you know access to a coal forge. So, which I don't.
but it looks
But
nice though.
yes.
All right. Was there anything else, sir? Are we good for the night?
I think this concludes this episode of Brothers in Smithing. Except for to say, go and vote. If you don't
Go
do
and vote.
it,
Check us out. Listen to the podcast. Obviously, if you've gotten to this point, I should say, we have a quick shout out. We had two new countries download
Oh,
our
yes.
podcast this last month. We had Hungary and the Netherlands, which I thought was fun. Those were two new ones for us. I had to look
Yes.
them up because the city comes up. I'm like, I have no idea where that is.
You're not going to try to
But
pronounce that one?
no, neither one of them. They were, you know, I would do a poor job.
Yes. Yes. There's a lot of consonants in that.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, excited to see people listening and everything. And we're not upset if you vote for the other person. We're just upset if you actually don't vote. So we love people. This is what spurs us on. This all comes from a creative side of things. And if you vote, it pushes us to do better next time. If you vote for the other person, it pushes us to do better next time, or encourages us to keep going and making these things and being creative. And that's really what this is about. It's partly about me and Kipling's. Uh, competitive nature, but also partly about just an excuse to get together and talk and appreciate everybody that votes. And
And give us new ideas.
yeah,
It's
for
a
sure.
friendly competition. So do check out on September. Talking about
Yeah.
September last time. May 29th, this Thursday. Check it out on Tapley Tinsmith on Instagram, Deer Run Forge on Instagram, or if you're only going to do one, Brothers in Smithing, vote for mine.
And vote for mine. Vote
It's
for the
my
better
third in a
one,
row.
which will be mine.
Mine.
Mine. Mine.
Nope, our
Good.
villain is taking over here.
Good luck, buddy.
Good luck to
You're
you
gonna need
too.
it.
You have a good day.
See ya.
Cheers.